Do your notes look like this? Or maybe something like this? Well then, congratulations my friend. You are not learning anything. But today, I'll show you a technique that's way better and that actually helps you learn. So, without further ado, let's begin. Hey nerds, welcome back to the channel. I'm your friend, philosopher and study cult leader Nibir, and today I'm gonna show you a note-taking technique that changed how I learn and remember stuff. Trust me when I say it, I used to take so many passive notes after my classes, lectures or whatever, and they did not help at all. You see this? This stack is from grade 11th and I can just throw them all away because they do not matter. They did not do a single thing in contributing to my knowledge. So what can you actually do? Well, I recently discovered the technique which I'm going to show you in Scott Young's book Ultra Learning, but I'm not going to bore you to death with all the theories and stuff. You should read the book, by the way. But here's the core idea. I stopped writing what they said and started asking the questions I actually needed answers to. And that changed everything. Okay, so here's the plan for this video. I'm gonna show you a live demo of how I do it, how to write better questions, why this whole thing works, and a small, tiny bonus tip for you, my nerds. So let's go, let's do it, alright? Okay, hi from the corner. Here on my screen, I have a couple of Khan Academy clips open, and they're great resources, by the way. Check them out, would ya? Now I will show you what I do when I am watching a video. The same works for textbooks or classes, right? This one's on Newton's first law of motion, a classic, so let's watch it.
Newton's first law says that objects have a tendency to continue their state of rest or uniform motion until acted upon by a net force.
So here's what most students would do. They'll just write this whole definition and a definition of Newton's first law. No. You do not do that. Instead, you ask questions, all right? But you could go all wrong with that as well. A bad question might look like, what is Newton's first law? Well, great, you now sound like ChatGPT on low battery. No, a good question is the one that allows you to think deeper, all right? Which might look like this. If there's no net force acting, how can an object be moving? See, it forces you to think more, right? Another example now, another clip. This one's on balanced and unbalanced forces. So, yeah.
Whenever the forces don't cancel out, that's when we have acceleration. So in general, we will say a net force. A net force causes an acceleration.
Right. So, instead of writing this whole net force causes acceleration, blah, 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 you need to write questions, right? But here, a bad question might look like, state the difference between balanced and unbalanced force. Dude, that sounds like school homework, bro. Instead, bend the rules a bit and ask specific questions like, how does net force relate to acceleration? And can you accelerate with zero net force? The core thing is, do not ask what's already been written. Ask why it works, what it means, and how it works. That's your job, all right? Well, now what do you do with all the questions? Well, you write them, you keep them somewhere, and you come back a couple of hours later and try to answer them with all the brain cells that you got. Hey guys, Editing Nibir here, and I kind of forgot to mention that this question answering part is probably the most important of the whole process. Please make sure not to review your notes or lectures as much as you can while answering the questions, and give it your best shot, alright? That is how you actually form the neural pathways needed to solve good problems, okay? This is what worked for me, and I'm sure that it will work for you, All right, so let's go on with the video. So now the most important question, why the heck does this work? 2 words, active recall. Your brain learns not when you take notes, but when you try to remember. That struggle, what was it? What was that? That is actual learning. So every question you ask yourself is like a rep in the gym. I know it sucks and it takes a lot of effort, but it forces you to practice deliberately, and that's how your brain actually learns. Okay, so bonus time, nerds. Listen carefully. You could also use an app like Anki to space out your questions and forget less. You see this graph? That's how it works. And essentially reap all the benefits. Also, if you want me to make a video on that, comment down below. So yeah, stop taking passive notes. Instead, write questions, answer them, and repeat. That's it. You are not a f***ing court stenographer. You're here to learn. And so do it. And now my script is running out. So if this video made your brain itch in a good way, then go check out my website that's linked in the description for more ideas like this. I also write blog posts on systems, books, and random chaotic stuff, and also fiction. I also run a no BS newsletter, no spam, only important stuff. Also, that's where the real gabagoo happens. So go ahead and check it out. Also, subscribe if you want to stop taking notes like a boring old man and start thinking like a beast. That's all for today, nerds. See ya in the next one. Stay frosty. You're still here? That's really, really sweet. Thank you so much. Have a great day.